mechanical level up in those positions like Kanavi, like Yagao especially.
Remember, we're being critical because JDG are a team we hold to the highest standard. In 2020, they were the best, or the second best team at the end of the year. And they're a team we hold in high esteem, so we want to see them get back to that form and Rare Adam see if they can challenge them. We're into pick and ban, ladies and gentlemen. You see an Udi ban not because it's rising in meta, but because Kanavi has been spamming the hell out of this in solo queue. So a lot of teams paying that respect, not letting him get his ideal jungler.
We heard from EDG as well. Sometimes it's just you're not really familiar with the champ. You might as well just ban it. Don't have to deal with the champion. Rare Adam are going to set up with the Thresh pick, and with a lot of AD carries banned out, they're giving a lot of respect to Iboy. It does look like we're going to have most likely Aphelios come out as well, and the Pantheon is something I really wanted to see personally come out from Leyan. He hasn't played this champion just yet, but is the highest win rate jungler in the LPL, and Rare Adam did find some wins with when Ike's was on it, so I do want to see Leyan's flair with this one.
Yeah, remember it was like the Ike's pick, as you just mentioned there, so it is nice to see transferring to Leyan. This is a pick that a lot of teams don't get their hands on because it is first ban worthy for red or blue sides. So the fact that JDG were willing to give it over means they might have a solution. We'll see. The Gragas gets locked in as a flex. The Kai'Sa already a strong pick. What rolls into this well, and what do JDG want to sacrifice for giving over such a strong jungler? The answer is an Orianna.
I do love the Gragas pick early because we've seen it work in 3 lanes so far. Kai'Sa doing very well in the jungle with it. We saw the top lane where Flandre did very well with it, and also support where I think that probably Mark is the best Gragas support we've seen so far. So it goes into a lot of different lanes. It's very hard to nail down. And what this allows JD Gaming to do is that essentially there's going to be a lot of champions that are misbanned by Rare Adam because they can't really target the jungle or the top lane or the support, and they don't really know if that position has been filled yet. It gives them a lot more opportunities in the second round to fill out the roster with the way they want to. For now, I think JD Gaming, what I want to see out of them would be a little bit more frontline. I think they're actually really good in this orange style of composition where they already have a lot of utility to throw on those plasma stacks.
Yeah.
And likely, I actually do want to kind of see LvMao on Gragas. I think this is a champion that theoretically he should work very well on, but we haven't seen done yet.
But you know what's really big to me is that Rare Adam, this is the Olaf ban coming through. A pick that is high priority, not in the LPL, but just in every region. Not only in the LPL, I should say. So the fact that Olaf made it all the way through to the second ban phase and is now taken away, kind of shows you the different priorities that these teams have. The set's going to follow suit there. JDG have decided to get rid of the Azir, and a couple of mid lane champions actually falling down. So Fofo's priority is getting shifted just a little bit.
I think they have to take away the Yone at this point, even though it's double AD to their enemy composition. Yone is one of those champions that we have seen consistently ban away from Fofo, and it actually has a really good matchup against Orianna. So if he goes for that one, like, I would really love to see that champion. We haven't really seen it much this split, but we know it's strong. We know it's one of Fofo's mains. That might be on the cards. Instead, we're just going to see Rare Adam potentially blind pick a Gnar. Doesn't feel great against Zoom, who has played Wukong into it.
You talked about the blind pick Gnar could really bite someone in the behind. So Cube piloting that one once again, one of his most played champions. Zoom also loves this Aatrox, and Aatrox into the Gnar has done pretty well in the past climate. Once we get to that level 6 mark, locked in.
Okay, so it does look like LvMao might be going for the Gragas, and then the Elise incoming. Wow, this was completely unseen so far. We haven't had an Elise in the LPL before, I believe. This should be the first Elise all season long.
It is.
And I really like the Elise because it changes the dynamic of the top lane matchup. You have a very strong gank against Gnar, and if Aatrox gets ahead, then the Gnar just kind of dies in lane. The way the matchup works is Gnar left alone, 1v1. A lot of the situations, the Gnar will come out ahead. It would be Divine Sunder. He's going to be consistently pushing the Aatrox in. But if Aatrox gets a couple kills early on, he gets to hit the World Ender with the movement speed buff. He can just chase the Gnar down from there on out. It's a very sort of one-sided matchup where if one end gets the advantage, he can snowball the entire way. So I love to see the ganking side of the LPL win over the carry jungle side.
And a Kanavi, very volatile jungler that we've been criticizing. You know, Elisa's a sink or swim champion. It's all about the early game. It's all about setting up your laners and getting with the gank pressure to snowball. I think one of the best Elisas we've seen in the LPL is Haro from Rogue Warriors, surprisingly enough. So if Kanavi can return to that previous form, then this is going to be such a fun opening game. It's like seeing a new champion. You know, we got Elise in the jungle. People forgot about her. They thought, this Spider, you know, what does she do? But returning to 2021 to see Kanavi on something that can pop off, that'll be the test to see JDG's form before their top esports series coming up on Sunday.
And we do have to touch on the demise of Elise. I think a large part that she's gone from competitive play is just how important and how frequent Drake fights have become. And she's a gank solo jungler. Like, she doesn't really provide much outside of just ganking lanes. So when you make a meta that's mainly about dragon fights and mainly about 5v5s, she really loses a lot of her luster. So I want to see how she's utilized, how they can play around the Drake fights that do happen later on, and if they can continue to just do picks and picks over and over again.
How can you match the global pressure of Leyan when he's gone Predator as well? That's going to be a big question to find. At the very least, JDG and Rare Adam, our second series of the day, we're rolling thunder into this one. And for JDG and Rare Adam, both sitting 1 and 2. JDG, we have high expectations of. Rare Adam, we still say they're a playoff team. One of these teams needs to put it all down and shut up and play. As we enter the Rift, this is going to be the testing grounds to find out where these two teams actually sit. I've been saying that a lot, but that's the point we're at. We're at week 4. We're very close to hitting that point. As Hung with the Flay, LvMao, he should have body slam, so he's okay. But just waiting now. Hasn't leveled anything up. Onto Iboy. Where's the body slam? Flay was already used, but they're not going to commit.
And just a little bit outside of range there. Not willing to go all in.
Hey, Clement.
And if they... Yeah.
Clement, just pause. Forget bottom lane. Kanavi has pressed the attack. Is that a thing?
What?
Is that a mistake?
Honest, I'm not very well versed in the Elise. This is the first time we're seeing it in the LPL.
Yeah. Now, Conqueror is something we've seen. You know, we've seen Electrocute, Conqueror. I think even weirdly enough, we saw a Phase Rush once as well. This is a first for me for PTA. Whether it was a mistake or not, we'll see at the very least. Apologize for that one, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just interesting, right?
Yeah, I could potentially see PTA dealing more damage compared to Electrocute in the long run, because the extra damage you do after the 3 attacks also applies to your teammates. Your teammates can get the extended damage amplification down as well. So I think that might be a reason, but it does require you to gank a target that actually can take your burst, because most of the way that Elise ganks is you throw your E down, it's the W, it's the Q into the double bite, and you try to finish off your targets that way. So if you're bringing press the attack, it must be on a target that can take a little bit more punishment, and I'm thinking that this is probably for a top lane gank.
Okay, very fair. I want to also clarify, just having a quick look. Thank you for being at home. PTA Elise actually been around for a little bit as well, so kind of nice to see moving on to the competitive scene. Again, apologies for that one, ladies and gentlemen. We don't see Elise too much, not something we're expecting to see today, especially with the Udi hovering around Lilia, Ivan. But, the PTA Elise, at the very least, you talked about the combos effective and how he can hover towards the top side. Well, at the very least for now, junglers have passed towards the bottom lane, and Kanavi has an overpush bottom lane from Rare Adam that he could try and abuse.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the site first. Iboy definitely has to burn his flash in this one.
There's a Cocoon. He flashes away, but leaves the support out to dry, and Hung's dead. There you go. PTA first blood, and Kanavi strikes true.
Well done there. This is what we've seen out of the Gragas versus Thresh matchup. You can keep the Thresh pretty low throughout most of the laning phase, and Gragas is such a strong ganker that we could see this play just repeated over and over again onto Iboy now that he has to burn his flash.
Well, that's a great start. At least snowballing. The Feast of Famine starts off very strong, Clement. And Kanavi getting down bottom lane first means that, for Loken and LvMao, their laning phase gets a little bit easier. But Kanavi, no flash. Leyan's coming in, has his own, but Repel makes it pretty hard here for the Pantheon. So Kanavi just backs away.
Yep, and the Pantheon, unfortunately, on the scene a little bit late. He's going to have to find some action elsewhere onto the map. And it should be this mid lane that they want to focus on for Rare Adam. We have seen Pantheon plus Syndra, a very strong combo. Tremendous kill pressure. I think it's probably the highest kill pressure combo that we have in the LPL right now. You got mixed damage, you got double stuns going in, so it's going to be a game where Yagao has to play incredibly safe, and it's kind of interesting to see him on the Orianna. We haven't seen Yagao actually go for this champion since 2018. He hasn't played it in over a year, so I wonder how he fares on this one.
Because remember, the Yagao versus Xie, the conversation that's been up in the air since the start of LPL, especially with the poor performance. What we've seen from Yagao is 4 games versus Xie on 2, so Yagao has been the main starter. I think Xie hasn't really had a chance to test himself in the LPL on this new roster after the pretty lackluster start. But at the very least, seeing him on Orianna, we expect like the LeBlanc, the Zoe, the Twisted Fates, as we've already seen this split. Something like the Orianna doesn't always sit with the Yagao playstyle, but going up against Fofo, a matchup that we've talked about in the past, Clement, you know, the range from the Syndra, feels pretty nice, and Yagao will just trying to be farming up and getting those tier stacks.
I love what he's doing right there. Zoom just going up and chasing out people, trying to stop the recall from going in. And yeah, like we were talking about, Yagao is very much a player where he is highly proficient on a few champions, but doesn't usually play the entire meta. So this is an interesting thing to kind of watch out, and Yagao's style has more been about face planting himself into the front line. He's kind of a frontline mage in that aspect, and we haven't really seen how well he does when he's on that more control role where he has to play with the back line and try to defend Loken.
It's going to be a pretty crucial time, as again we talked about this, JDG are heading towards top esports, folks, so a very important series for this team. Top esports, the return of our grand final rematch coming up on this Sunday. Eyes on the prize, folks. Eyes on the prize. It's all about JDG here, and seeing if Rare Adam are going to be too much for them here today. I want to talk more about the comps comment. It's a bit of a slow early game. You were mentioning Yagao and how he fits into this team, but let's go further into how Kanavi can snowball this lead and continue to add priorities. He's coming down to the bottom lane. Hold that thought, Mr. Chu, you smart man. As onto the backside, Iboy takes a dark passage. One more killer instinct, or the second skin rather, as LvMao's the target for Leyan. That sidestep though was super sweet. Thumbs in the air, Leyan flashes in the end. While meanwhile Kanavi has someone in his web. He wants the angle onto Hung. He gets pulled into human form. Kanavi knows he's dead, and that was a messy start to this series.
But that was all in favor of JD Gaming. They traded 3 for 1, and the opponent only gets the gold onto the support kill right here. We're going to be looking at a very, very powerful Kai'Sa and a very bursty Elise coming into this, already with the Sork shoes complete.
And the Seeker's arm guard there too, with the amplifying tome. There's so much gold here on Kanavi. Leyan had to flash Q, and he ends up dying in the end too. So this was the start you want for JDG. I was about to come back to this question, Clement. How do they snowball with Kanavi's lead? Even more prevalent now.
So they actually have a lot of crowd control on members like LvMao. And just to take a look at this match again, they know Iboy is the one without the flash. LvMao holds on to it until he gets a clear angle, waits for the repel there as well. They kill Iboy without much trouble, and Leyan just can't find the execute onto LvMao. He has to burn his flash inside the brush to get that one. So Loken just getting force-fed right here, and we're talking about JDG's composition with Aatrox pushing in the side lanes, with pick potential coming out of Gragas and Elise, that they really want to play more of a 1-3-1 style. They want to be chasing down the kills all over the map, and they're going to get a lot of chances to do it.
They just won out with a 3v2 in the bottom lane. LvMao getting hit hard here by Iboy, who not really fearful of the body slam. There's no explosive cast yet, as Graviton with the Moonlight Vigil does miss. Seen a lot of missing with that ultimate here today, and Rare Adam's bottom lane are going to keep pushing in because they know Leyan's nearby with the Starfall.
Yep, and they need to be pretty careful. We have seen Mark play in front of their own turret. You can knock someone back into your own turret quite easily. So definitely have to give respect to that one. And this is the gank that we want to see. Zoom, of course, already used his W here. So they're going to have to back off and probably trade Heralds.
Okay, Herald for the Dragon, Infernal Soul, Infernal Dragon rather than to start off. We are going to be getting an Ocean or a Cloud Rift. And Herald hasn't been started as of yet. But Rare Adam drop a ward, and there's no real trade here. With the lead built up by Kanavi, Herald not starting straight away is something that Rare Adam can back in position for.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to take a while for them to actually feel confident enough to set that one up. They do the blue transfer first into the pushing mid lane, and this is where I do expect the Herald to be started. Yep, does look like they know where the jungler is. Good on LvMao. He checks out if the blue hand is happening on the other side as well, and that just makes sure that Kanavi can start this one undisturbed.
Yeah, on a ward, doesn't matter, you're right. Hung's even made the roam. LvMao matching is a crucial part, though. Hung 6 versus Mao is at 5. LvMao, excuse me. And walking up, Yagao just going to be adding pressure as well. So Herald secured at the trade, but you can see that Leyan always was willing to make that trade. He's moving into the enemy jungle and now getting some more camps of his own, even for the bot side dive.
Oh,
they're going to be setting up for the turret. Leyan's still chasing, but Loken just walks away.
Oh, Predator Pantheon doesn't find the mark right there. Really well played on Loken. A lot of ADCs would have died in that situation, but he understands the play, backs out instantly, and they're only going to give over, I believe, two turret plates here.
Yes, that is, a trade at the very least. Ultimate's going awry all across the rift. Leyan just moving back to Scuttle Crab, and we continue, pacing ourselves with these farming games. 10 CS in the bottom lane, a scatter the weak in the mid lane, but all said and done is still even. The Nah matchup doing well for Zoom, actually, keeping intact with CS. Don't know what's happened to my talking. It must just be all the whiffs we've seen. Cube being able to push up here, and you told me that a lot of the time Nah feels good in this matchup, but Zoom's doing okay.
Yeah, he's actually still going to be ahead in CS, but I think this is mainly off the fact that we haven't really seen Elise try to impact this lane. So far, Kanavi has been playing on the bottom side. I do want to circle back and talk a little bit about compositions. Essentially what I think JD Gaming are doing with this comp is they are sort of on a timer against Aphelios GA. So they really want to close this one out before the third item, or I would say fourth item mark coming out from Iboy. They don't want it to go too late. They're much more about the pick potential coming out from Gragas and Elise, and neither of these champions scale very well. So we're looking at JD Gaming try to get out a good lead early, and just use this ganking Kanavi to find advantages.
Their sentence meanwhile on the bottom lane. Box put down for the commitment. LvMao sends Iboy into the wall. The W doesn't connect here from Loken, and Iboy just walks away. That was probably beneficial at the end of the day for JDG.
Yeah, it really depends on the cooldowns between Box and Cask right here. I think both of them are actually about the same. But we do see what Rare Adam have been trying to do this entire game. That's been setting up this bot lane tower dive. Pantheon has been hovering around this bot side. They're going in.
Okay, Loken ready for the killer instinct. Doesn't pop it though. LvMao here, Kanavi here over the wall as well, just waiting. Kanavi's been doing a lot of this, and this is what we missed about Elise in the LPL. She's a very patient jungler who aims for those ganks, knows she's not going to scale up, or at least add something like into the mid game, like a Pantheon with Gore Drinker as a front line. So with the Sonya's Hourglass, Kanavi, he wants a place to put the Herald Clement, but he keeps getting denied by Rare Adam playing safe.
Yeah, and now Leyan finds himself in a little bit of an awkward situation. Okay, doesn't land.
Cocoon goes out wide, Leyan just walking away, thumbs in the air. He's got his Gore Drinker anyway, so he'll survive quite a lot. And, this early game, pretty even. We saw a lot of blood down in the bottom lane. You mentioned Kanavi just trying to get around. He'll now put the Herald in the mid lane before plating disappears. And Yagao should have the push on this one as well, so this will just get a bit more gold into the Orianna's pocket.
Yep, and we have talked about what JD Gaming are playing for. We can now mention what Rare Adam are playing for. Never mind, Yagao.
Flash. Rift Herald now going to get the charge, and Yagao flashes away from range. So he doesn't actually get the gold in the end. Kind of sad after everything.
Sad.
Yeah.
The jungler should still get the gold, but he's not going to get a share of it. And really tense moments as LvMao is standing on a ward. Don't think he realizes that himself.
Your definition of intense, Clement, is very different to mine. This is we got 6 kills in 13 minutes, but for some reason there's almost that sleep factor coming through. But we do have the Mountain Dragon, so I think we wake up for this one. Everyone's grouping teleport on both these top laners, but Cube does have a level advantage for now. Zoom should be able to get 11 after that wave crashes in. But we're all just gearing up for the second dragon.
If I'm JD Gaming, I don't really mind contesting this Drake. It's the first Drake. It's a mountain Drake. It doesn't really matter that much. I'd be happily willing to give it over and just find picks outside of the fight.
Teleport means no, Clement. Zoom's level 11 into the world ender, waiting for it onto Iboy. He misses the first Q. Onto the third. He flashes in. Still hasn't ultied until now. Both the summoners are down. He pulls in with the Infernal Chains onto Hung. He's not doing too much damage, but with that dunk down and the snipe down, Loken carries the play. A teleport defensively because Iboy's in a lot of trouble, and that'll pull JDG off.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mentioned, is that you don't really have to contest for the Drake itself. The more important thing is actually trying to find the exit kills as people walk out of the river. It was a great ward placement from JDG. They find the perfect collapse, and Cube is now stuck in the... this is going to be a...
They're in some shit. Yeah, Clement, I agree. Into the wall, Iboy's just going to go down, and LvMao picks up the kill. Cube into Meganar wants Kanavi. Is the repel available? Into the wall, says no until now. Drops on down. Chilling Smite there. Zoom over the wall as well. And Cube's going to get tagged for 1-2. The cocoon there enables the dunk down. And Cube's going to regret that. Ike's coming in, rather Leyan into the enemy jungle. Kanavi baits him in, flashes over the wall. And Rare Adam, what are you doing? The death sentence is no counter engage. And JDG suddenly up 3,000 gold.
The funny thing about that fight is Rare Adam essentially used 2 teleports to burn in and give JD Gaming more kills. They were stuck with a 4v2 in their bottom lane. They used a teleport down. Cube still died. And then Leyan comes down and still dies. It's, oh my god. This is a team that does not understand the concept of sunk cost fallacy.
Yes. Well said. You keep adding in, you think, okay, we'll do the IG method. If the play doesn't work, we'll try it again. But, you know, Leyan ends up dying a 3rd time, and Kanavi comes back out on the map with the Zhonya's Hourglass, with the Sork shoes and Herald at the making. So for JDG, this is looking pretty good. 4-0 and 3 on Loken, by the way, with Gale Force now picked up. And you can't put a foot wrong with the way you talked about the comps as well, right? The snowball's in effect, and JDG have very structured mid, top, and 80 carry positions.
Yeah, what Rare Adam really wanted to do was scale later into the game where they could set up a 5-man siege. They have range advantage. They have a lot of good disengage and Mega Gnar and Scatter the Weak and Thresh. It's going to be so hard for JD Gaming to dislodge them from a certain position. But now that JD Gaming are solidly ahead, now that Zoom should be taking over control of that top lane with all the assists that he's been able to find, I think we are going to see the pick composition start to win out. They're going to have more priority. They're going to be finding more plays into the jungle. And that's how the game is likely going to go from there on out. What I did want to mention is, this is something that I really love about JD Gaming, is they understand a lot of different ways to play around the Drake. A lot of times they're not like most LPL teams that just feel like they need to straight rush the Drake immediately. They are very accomplished with playing with assassins like LeBlanc and with pick compositions like Zoe. So they are willing to play a patient game, and they understand when the picks will develop for themselves. So under that situation, they give up the entire river, they let Rare Adam walk over, they let them take the Drake, but on the way out, they have the perfect teleport to snipe out all of the kills, all of the picks, and they basically blow the game wide open because of it.
Trade's just hurting them so much in their favor. The explosive cast wasn't that great from LvMao. Sends Leyan to the middle of the lane. The Herald still gets the charge into the inner turret though. And the trade-off of losing this dragon is just so much greater. Iboy sitting up in the top side of the turret, but he can't defend against Zoom. There's no trade-off whatsoever. And JDG now moved to about 4,000 in the lead. While we're just waiting for the next dragon. We're waiting for that next pick that comes through from JDG. And how Rare Adam can stem the bleeding that's being caused by one moment.
I'll be honest, I'm so happy there's teams in the LPL that can understand the concept of giving up Drakes. You know, like, I feel like in China, the dragon is this mystical animal. It's kind of their sigil. So, you know, everyone is super attached. They feel like you have to fight for the dragon's glory and everything. But a lot of times, giving up Drakes is actually totally fine. You can give up Drakes for better positioning. You can give up Drakes for taking gold in your pocket right now rather than scaling gold. And if you look at like a team like T1 last year, or when they were most successful with Teddy, a lot of times they were willing to give up the first 2 Drakes just to get extra.
They know the value of it as Loken's going into Iboy, but oh my god. Here we go again. Iboy getting the 700 gold shutdown. That was a 4-1 Kai'Sa, who's pretty broken at the moment, and Iboy just has some shurikens.
I was so surprised that he was actually just trying to go for that. He had no vision on that side of the map. He didn't know where the support was, but he was like, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm going to go in for that one.
And hey, you know, they didn't optionally give up this dragon this time, Clement. They have to give it up. They're down their big Kai'Sa. Loken's up in about a second. See if JDG can delay for him to get on the map, but Rare Adam initiate the start.
Yeah, Loken probably didn't anticipate Iboy to still have his flash in that one. It's going to have to be a steal if JD Gaming want it.
Scout of the week at the ready. Kanavi going in. Doesn't walk in for the steal, but it is a two-man scout of the week. They get hit by 3 Shuriken. Shockwave only onto Leyan. Into the backline. LvMao gets tagged down heavily as well as Fofo. Damaging from the reroll. Zoom is trying to carry the fight. He's 1 versus 4. Killer Instinct at the ready is Leyan. Maybe just baiting in the Killer Instinct and the flash from Loken. They take out Zoom on the return trade. 4 for 1. That's so worth for RA.
And RA are heading straight towards Baron. The death timers are still pretty low. Now we're just hit 20 minutes, but I don't think there's anything that Loken can do here. He doesn't have his ultimate, only has a cleanse.
They're waiting
Okay,
for
but
it.
they do think better of it with the double teleport still on JD Gaming.
Ooh, tags out in the end. Scout of the week hits Loken. He cleanses immediately, and the hook doesn't connect. So that's another summoner down just to bait away the Baron. It won't be started, but you take some crucial summoners from the 80 carries, the most fed member of JDG.
I think we saw a lot of showcases of the problems that were plaguing JDG in just that one clip right there. That 1 minute is all you need to know about JD Gaming's struggle. They lose Loken into a fight he opted into himself, and they overstay for the steal. I understand why Kanavi is around this play. Why are the rest of you doing? Like, what is there to gain fighting 5v4? If you can't get the steal, get the hell out. Rare Adam are in perfect position. They're the team fight composition. And you don't need to take every fight you see. But, you know, JD Gaming, they are who they are. They love fighting. They've never seen a fight that they didn't like. And that's kind of the result.
You know, you're like an angry father who you're educating your son or your daughter on bad business decisions. And you're like, why would you do that? Why did you invest my money into this piece of company, you know? So I dig it, Clement, especially when JDG were up about 4,000 gold. That's shrunk quite a lot. There's a soul to play for and an early Elder if that's successfully guaranteed. Plus, we have a 2-item Aphelios. Iboy has a Renan's Hurricane now. He's hitting his strides. He's getting to the point of trying to match Loken, who's now only 500 gold in front of him. Loken was the big part of the gold lead for this game. So, really impressive stuff from Iboy with the solo kill. It doesn't matter who impressive on whose part. But now, getting the resources off the fight. Rare Adam in a really good position. Clement, I want you to walk me through because pick comp for JDG you talked about with the help of the Elise. Now what happens at Rare Adam and claw back the gold lead and can actually initiate part of the wombo in the team fighting?
What it means is that Rare Adam have a very clear way to play the game. They just play defensive in their jungle. They set up vision. They make sure there are no picks in the next 5 minutes, and they make this game all about the Cloud Soul. That's a very, very easy game strategy. You don't have to, like, even if your towers are getting chipped down, I would maintain that sticking together is a good idea. And what you want to do is just make sure that you're never split up to the point that JD Gaming can actually find a pick on you. If you can make it through these 5 minutes, the game is yours. Now, that's still a big task because we are talking about Iboy and we are talking about Leyan. So these are players that have kind of been known to kind of throw their lives for risky plays, and that's what we love about them at the same time, and that's why we kind of dislike them. Yeah, but if they can keep their stuff together, just don't do anything for the next 5 minutes, walk into River together as a 5v5, this game should be in their favor.
Okay, that's a very clean condition set by Mr. Clement Chu, who gave a critical, what did I call that segment? Chu's Critical Chu? Or Clement's Critical Chu?
No, Clement's Critical Chu.
Thank you.
Because Chu's my last name and you don't put my, whatever.
You don't have to explain it, it's all right. But we did talk about some of the, sadly, low-hanging fruit of criticism. That is JDG right now. And what that last fight was is showing what this top-tier team is performing like. They start coming out of the gates running, but then they threw it all away in front of the fight. Rare Adam in a good position. You said you want to see them grouped up. You can see that Leyan's always staying in range for that ulti. That Starfall is always near Iboy, who's the critical member, who now has a bounty on him, who in this next fight, with the space that can be created from Rare Adam's comp, is going to do very well. So we got 35 seconds till that comes true, Clement. and Leyan's always in the right position.
And I want to say this is a really smart play from Rare Adam. They went 4-man into the river to establish vision because they knew that the only way that JD Gaming were going to play this was likely to pull them towards Baron Pit. So they make sure they have that quadrant completely covered in their own vision. They can still walk into the river here throughout their blue ramp pretty undisturbed right here, and they do have the front line in Cube where he's at a good Meganar meter.
Leyan just takes the Dark Passage, but only for the shield. Remember, this is Gord, Drinker, Pantheon with the Sterix Gauge. He's tanky enough, and he'll heal up after taking some damage. They don't have River priority, but JDG moving in first to try and establish it themselves. Cube about to go into Mega, as you pointed out, but the Moonlight Vigil with Gravitum.
What?
Leyan is ulting into the middle.
Why?
Is the trigger pulled too early? Shockwave burnt, Leyan flashing away. Clement, did you cast to curse them? I don't know, but Rare Adam now with a lot down. Still trying to move in. Salt on the horizon. Dragon resets.
So taking stack at the ultimates right here. The World's Ender is
Leyan walking in. He just steals it.
Oh.
How did they let him steal it? Body bop into the back line. LvMao gets shielded up. Leyan getting low and he'll drop down. Hung on a hair's breadth as well as Zoom takes the Unleashed Power. Rare Adam still trying to trade for the fight. The Scout of the Week hits 3-man. A perfect line from Fofo. Okay, Dragon for the jungler is the trade and it's a worthwhile one.
Yep, they get the soul. Execution was a little bit questionable, but at the end of the day, they got what they came here for. And that just kind of showcases you how much leverage they have when it's a 5v5 situation. Elise and Gragas really are kind of like half of champions right now. They're not really full champions. They're only there for starting initiations.
Oh.
But JD Gaming are going back to what they know best, which is the Baron turn. Now, This is not starting out good because Fofo's already had them really far chunked down, and all the members are flooding in.
Clement, Iboy's walking in. Good zoning here from Yagao. Fofo on the back end. 2K going down fast. He wants to take it. The Syndra. Scout of the Week doesn't secure it. It's Kanavi. The King of Thieves or the King of the Dragon. Rather Baron. Yagao takes down Iboy as well. Excuse me, is JDG still walking in for the fight? Predator propped by Leyan. And Rare Adam on the retreat, but look at Zoom's pathing. He wants to flank forward with the Scout of the Week, the Unleashed Power. Golden goes Kanavi with his Zonya's Hourglass. The Rare Adam still retreating, but with Baron buff now, JDG is somehow back in the game.
Sometimes I just hate being right. Didn't I tell you that Leyan and Iboy had a tendency to throw things? Oh,
well, there we go. You know, after one play goes down in Smithereens, JDG picking up the Baron 5k gold lead. And this is not really telling us anything. Remember our segment? This will tell us something. This is telling us that both these teams, you know, do some stuff.
Yeah, Leyan obviously died in the previous play, so he's not going to be here. He's coming into the situation late. Iboy, even though there is a Dark Passage there, you know, it really wasn't well coordinated. I blame that more on Thresh rather than Iboy. That Dark Passage was a little bit too far backwards.
Right.
And he couldn't flash out of the explosive cask in time. They take the Baron buff away. I just feel like RA could have dealt with that dragon fight so much cleaner, to the point that JD Gaming should have never been allowed to go to Baron. Like, they had the wave set up, they had the vision set up, and then for some reason, Leyan goes in, they have to have a super risky smite onto the dragon. He dies, and this is kind of the result.
You got a Cloud Salt, you got an Elder Dragon coming up in 3 minutes. Look, for Rare Adam, I'll say, just defend, see how much you can not give up. As JDG are moving to the inner turret on the top side. If they can defend their base, it feels like Elder's still there as the Shockwave whiffs. And next wave coming in. This turret will definitely go down with the Baron buff. And now it's about what Zoom can exert through the mid lane. How much further JDG can get in this base.
I don't think there's a lot of potential for JDG to actually crack open the inhibitors. So most likely they are just going to be rotating and stripping out the outer turrets with side lane split pushes. No one can really contest Aatrox at this point. He's going to be a major point for them to spread the map out. And it's going to be about motioning people across side lanes, trying to split Rare Adam apart, and then collapsing on them as they walk over vision, as their compositions are dragged up and Iboy isn't protected. So that's the game plan for JD Gaming. They still have a bit of time on the Baron buff. Actually, only 15 seconds left. So, not not really that successful on either side. They do get 2 towers, I believe, but it's mainly about the gold lead, and yeah, that's it.
That's it. It does feel like that's it. You're right. 29 minutes in. I'm kind of shell-shocked that, you know, Rare Atom I put in playoffs. I think I put them 8th. JDG I put in 2nd. I think a lot of people did, when what we saw in 2020 was indicative of what we thought we'd see in 2021. But our top teams are changing. EDG, WER, and G holding the top of the standings right now, and JDG look like a bit of a mess. It feels weird that we're criticizing after the Baron play, but again, there's still just small, minute details that need to be talked about. Rare Atom especially as well. Clement, don't ever talk about Leyan and Iboy again, because it will happen. So as we get towards Elder and, you know, maybe another Baron buff, we'll see what happens, because for JDG, the split-second decision-making most of the time has been a little better as we're getting towards the mid-late game.
Yeah, and crucially for this fight, I think LvMao can make a lot of miracles happen, just because Syndra and Aphelios are not very mobile champions. So if he could get a very good explosive cast, get someone out of position, they could all fly into that zone and use...
Like this?
Right here.
Lemon, you're a genius! This time you didn't curse it, you set it up. RA have just been exploded by one play off of LvMao. The fat man can dance.
This is what we've seen for JDG compositions multiple times. It used to be the Fiddlesticks Flash Terror combination, and now
Shockwave on top, the death sentence there, the box laid bare. Leyan's dead as Cube gets an unreal ultimate to defend the play, but JDG have done it. Elder's coming up next in 20 seconds.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bait coming in from JD Gaming. They use this narrow strip of land to make sure that Rare Atom can't have their front line in front of their back line. LvMao finds a perfect gap straight onto Iboy, and they're able to kill him up instantly with the Killer Instinct on the side of Loken. So that was really well played, and I knew that play was coming because we have seen this combination between LvMao and Imp, I believe, was who their AD carry was when they were playing Kaisa and Fiddlesticks, where the Fiddlesticks jumps in, flashes, terrifies, and Killer Instincts to follow up and just make the play happen. This is pretty much in the same vein, with maybe even a little bit more separation on the play.
Oh God, Clement, you're such a genius on this. Look at this engage. That was as clean as you get.
Yeah, that was beautiful to watch.
Kind of like blew Rare Atom out of the water. The kill goes over to Loken. He's now 4.5 items here, and what more can you say than pack it away? The Elder's on JDG side for another 2 minutes. Baron's up in 15. If Rare Atom lose another fight like this as Loken goes in onto Iboy, that's revenge served pretty damn hot from the Kaisa. The Elder execute comes through with the Collector, and now Rare Atom don't have their star 80 carry.
Kind of surprised that Iboy was willing to go that far without summoners into the mid lane. He gets punished for it heavily, and JD Gaming have a chance to actually just finish this one.
Going in straight forward into LvMao, the body slam negated here with the death sentence. He takes up the turret and dies, but Leyan will be the trade-off in front of the turret. They don't have a minion wave here as Cube sends Zoom back. Gore Drinker is showing League of Legends what it's made of, as Zoom took about 15 million turret shots, but it doesn't matter in the end. JDG with 4 will still at least try for this inhibitor, then back away.
It was very clean play right there. A little bit of a mishap from LvMao. He doesn't get his primary target, but he does burn all the flashes away, and that's what the pick comp is playing for anyway. The next time, they can do this all over again, and we've seen how the combo works. What Rare Atom need to do is that they need to make sure that they are in a deep formation, where Iboy cannot be touched by LvMao. If Iboy is sent forward, then there's a high chance they lose the game instantly.
Ward on the back of the pit! Oh, no! Scatter the week from Fofo! They didn't do their due diligence on JDG's side, and Fofo takes it away.
That's gonna be the 3rd Baron steal I've casted in just 4 days. That's true. Oh God, it's so painful to see. But in the LPL, we love rushing these quick Barons. We are willing to gamble on things like this. But unfortunately, they pay the price for that. Great damage combo coming out from that. You get the Q damage, the Q damage, and the E damage in at the same time.
Which again, they didn't clear. There's a ward in the back of the pit that you can't see on this replay from Rare Atom.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one here.
Well, What a doozy. The game goes on and Rare Adams stay relevant. Because with the Baron buff, they can defend.
Too early.
Yep. What now, Clement? What do you do now? Do Rare Adams suddenly just win the game off of a steal? How do you want to see it proceed?
Man, this game is so hard to tell. I've been saying that Rare Adam technically should have the lead for such a long time now, but they're never able to get their team fights in the correct position that they want them to. And look at this again. They're so separated away from Iboy that they're just taking free damage on the front line.
You about to go into Mega Gnar, zooms, found him first. So the explosive cast again sets up the shockwave. LvMao may die, but it could have been successful for the play. Loken walks forward. One more auto necessary, and eventually he goes down into GA. Loken going forward. The Kaisers in LPL are so sexy. JDG right into the enemy base. This one's going to be a W.
And Rare Adam get picked off in the exact same position as before. They walk through the choke and give LvMao perfect separation on the team fight. Their front line goes down, their back line can't escape anymore, and JD Gaming, despite all their mishaps, are going to take down Game 1 in JD Gaming fashion.
In JD Gaming fashion, well said, Mr. Chu. A Game 1 that will not